All right, everyone, thank you for joining me for my afternoon coffee break. I'm going to be taking you on a quick drive around Lake Oswego. This is a drive I would typically do with my clients when they're visiting from out of town or something like that, but we are doing our first ever video drive-through of Lake Oswego. Right now, I'm going to be turning left onto A Avenue, which is the main thoroughfare through downtown Lake Oswego. We are starting this tour right next to Lake Oswego's downtown village where my office is. Historically, it's been the best place to go for a wide variety of food, shopping. The surrounding areas have really done very well real estate-wise because of the walkability to this downtown Lake Oswego village. Right now we are passing City Hall. It's a brand new City Hall. One of my favorite lunch spots, Duke's, is right on the left right here. We're approaching an intersection with Country Club, but we're gonna be actually turning left onto Chandler and Iron Mountain before I get there. On the left here, you have Our Lady of the Lake Church. That's a K-8 school. Coming up, you'll see there's a couple vacant lots as well as new construction going in right here. Both First Edition and Evergreen, which flank A Avenue, have experienced massive growth and appreciation due to all the new construction development going on. I would say average prices for new construction homes right now in both the neighborhoods are anywhere from 1.4 all the way up to 2.5 million. We are heading toward Lake Oswego's Country Club district, where you have Oswego Lake Country Club and some of the most prestigious homes in the area that are off the lake. I would say the average home price in this neighborhood is north of 2 million actually. We're getting onto Iron Mountain Boulevard right here, which basically will connect the east side of the lake where we're coming from all the way to the south side of the lake. Right here you can see some of the houses that are surrounding us. Very, very nice older homes, larger lots. I would say the average lot size in this neighborhood is anywhere between a third to half of an acre. And actually some of the lots over here have nice views of the lake, which increases the property value substantially. So we're now getting on the main stretch of Iron Mountain Road. Iron Mountain is a nice road for pedestrians to both bike and run, especially on nice days like today. If you go up and down the road, it makes a perfect distance for a good sized jog. As we are approaching Iron Mountain Park, you're gonna have Village on the Lake up on the left, which is a really nice community that was developed in the late 80s, early 90s. And then right up here on our right, you have a brand new park, Iron Mountain Park. I actually checked it out over this weekend with the family. Really am looking forward to using it more as it continues to open up and some of the landscaping kind of grows in. There's a number of trails that go up into the hill that will take you by the Country Club and up onto Glen Eagles Road. Over off to the right, you have Lake Oswego's Hunt Club where you can take horse riding lessons. We are now going around Iron Mountain roundabout. If I had gone the other way, I'd hit Upper Drive and go right through Lake Oswego's Lake Grove neighborhood. Instead though, I am taking Lakeview Boulevard and I'm going to be going by some of the nicest real estate on the lake. Why I would say these are some of the most expensive and nice homes on the lake is because of their sun exposure. You have great southern exposure all day long. Then additionally, you're close into downtown Lake Grove area. Most of these homes on Lakeview Boulevard, you're dealing with a little bit of slope. So there's a couple stories down to the lake level, but all of these are considered low bank homes. Your home is essentially right on the water level. Whereas as we go around the lake, I'll talk a little bit about the differentiation between high bank and then low bank and how that relates to, you know, not only your propensity to use the lake, but also intended resale value. So this whole road runs adjacent to the railroad track, which the railroad track is active. It goes by anywhere between 1 and probably 4 times a day, depending on the day. You know, people always ask me how the noise is, and I will say it's not for everyone. Most people do get used to it. Some of the most expensive real estate is located right next to this railroad. And then over off to the left, we had the Lake Grove Swim Park. As a property owner or a resident of Lake Oswego, you get access to that swim park. There's a nice little swimming area and a huge lawn for picnics, gatherings. The fireworks show on the 4th of July is actually located right out there. So if you want a front row seat, get there early because it does fill up fast. And then right now we are actually on South Shore. I would say this is probably one of my favorite areas in Lake Oswego. I love going over all of these bridges. It's a great neighborhood to walk, tons of beautiful scenery. The houses here are spectacular. Some of the views looking down the lake to the east are second to none. So you're seeing some pretty crazy property prices. All that has to do with the actual views. Off to the right-hand side to the west, you have all the canal homes. So you have two main canals and then you have a bay, West Bay, but the canals make it a little bit more accessible for the average person to get lake access. And it's a great way for like a young family to get really ingrained in the Lake Oswego community. So as we round South Shore, we are climbing the hill. Off to the left, you have what I was touching on earlier, the beginning of some of the high bank properties on the south side of the lake. Most of these high bank properties have amazing views. They do have northern exposure, so you don't get the all-day sunshine in the backyard that is a little bit more desirable for people wanting to be on the north side of the lake. Over here though, off to the right, you have a fantastic neighborhood adjacent to Lake Ridge High School. Property prices in this neighborhood range anywhere between probably 600 and 800,000. There's a few exceptions in the $1 million range with some of the newer construction that's going in right now. I still think it's one of the most affordable and probably the best opportunities for a young family buying into Lake Oswego though. We're probably a couple hundred feet above sea level. You can kind of get a feel for how high these houses are above the lake. One of the things is when you're this high, you're either looking at hundreds of stairs down to the water or needing some sort of tram to get down, which could potentially cost in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Your propensity to use the lake would go down as you're climbing in elevation up and off the water. So tons of people actually make this walk around the lake, probably about 6 to 7 miles round trip. It takes us really 20 minutes in the car, no big deal, but it would make an awesome like weekend walk or jog. Over off to the left, you have Palisades Neighborhood, which is off of Terrace Drive and Palisades Terrace. Very consistent neighborhood, built in late 80s, early 90s. A lot of executive style homes ranging in the $1 million to $1.5 million range. A lot of them have been updated and remodeled. Very little new construction just because the quality of all those homes that were built in that era are really too nice to tear down. In Lake Oswego, there's not a lot of new construction in traditional subdivision. Most of the new construction is a direct result of older homes, either from the 40s, 50s, or 60s, being bought and then torn down. In the past couple years, in a very popular neighborhood that we started the tour in First Edition, for instance, the average tear down was going for about $350,000. That is when I started real estate in 2014 and 2015. This year, we actually just had one go pending in less than a week for $650,000. So that's the kind of appreciation we've seen over the last 5 years, and I don't really see that slowing down anytime soon. Right now we are taking a left onto McVeigh, which takes us back down the hill towards downtown Lake Oswego and our original starting point. Along the way, off to the right, you have Hallinan neighborhood next to Free Ponds Park. Hallinan Elementary is a fantastic elementary school and highly sought after by many people moving into this area. In general, the neighborhood supports anywhere between $500,000 all the way up to probably $1.4 million newer construction homes. I like the neighborhood a lot because there's not a lot of tall fir trees, and what that does is it increases your sun exposure. And as we're approaching the bottom of the hill here, you're going to have Lake Corp on the left, which is the single point to launch your boat, as well as the only place to fill up your boat with gas. And you can see we're hitting a little bit of traffic right now. We are going towards Highway 43, or as is commonly known in Lake Oswego, at least in this portion, State Street. Across State Street right now, you have George Rogers Park, which is one of my favorite parks adjacent to the Willamette River. Great place for kayaking, paddleboarding, and there's a nice beach down there on the river. Plenty of lawn space for sports as well. They have an annual arts festival. They do car shows, tons of different events throughout the year. Off to the right, if you were to head south, you'd be heading directly into West Lynn. Off to the left, if we head north, this will take us all the way to Portland, which is one of my favorite ways to get downtown without hitting I-5. Right now, we're approaching Lake Oswego's Old Town neighborhood off to the right, one of the original neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, and there is a design review committee that makes sure all the new construction homes as well as remodels keep within the original aesthetic of this old town. And then over off to the left-hand side, you have Lakewood neighborhood, which is adjacent to Lakewood Bay. Probably has some of the most expensive real estate in Lake Oswego. There's a house I just sold off market on North Shore Road for nearly $1,000 per square foot. Prices on the lake are quickly approaching, if not exceeding that $1,000 per square foot price point. Off to the right, you have Lake Oswego's Whole Foods. Off to the left, you have a Lake Theater Cafe. Growing up, that was an amazing spot to go watch a movie. You can take your boat right into the marina. It makes an awesome date night. They're now serving dinner and hosting events as well. Through that marina, you're actually able to access all of the downtown Lake Oswego restaurants and amenities. My favorite day to come and access that marina would be on Saturdays during the summer. For most of the year, they do have a Saturday market up in Millennium Park, and we are now turning back onto A Avenue to complete our loop around the lake. We are just on time. I think that took about 20 to 25 minutes, not too bad. If there's anything at all that I left out or you want to find out a little bit more about, please don't hesitate to comment, subscribe. I'm going to be diving into all of these neighborhoods in more depth as I progress on this channel, and would love to know what you guys are really interested in learning about.